My fellow souls, today I would like to discuss some of the things we do in the name of God, some things we do because of God, and some things that we claim to do for God Himself. First, we are all children of God, and I think that all of us will agree in the following: that God has created everything, everything, and that includes you and me and every single thing that you could possibly see, feel, touch, grow, eat, use, and, yes, abuse. All of these have also been created by God. This means that God created everything, and that God already owns everything since He is the one who created them. It also means that there is nothing that we can possibly give to God. Whatever that you think you want to give to God is already His. How can we say that we are giving God a leaf, a flower, a fruit, a rock, a coconut, or an idol if He already owns it? How can we say that we are sacrificing and killing an animal in His name when that animal is also His child? What level of depravity, cruelty, and ignorance does it take to kill God's own child in His name and somehow tell God that we're doing it for Him? If He already owns everything, then there is nothing that we can give to God. Now, if God is all powerful, it also means that there is nothing we can do for God. He does not need us to do work for Him because He is all powerful and can do everything for Himself. What He wants us to do is to be the best child possible by thinking in the right manner, speaking in the right manner, acting in the righteous manner. He wants us to be the most complete, most perfect child, the most perfect human being we can possibly be. He wants us to be kind, caring, compassionate, tolerant, patient, and loving with each other and with all His other children. This includes all the animals, for these too are His children. In other words, we should be practicing universal love, loving with equanimity, in equanimity. Oftentimes I've heard it said that someone is a soldier of God. Or I'm sure you've heard someone calling themselves soldiers of God. It begs the question that if God is all powerful, then why does He need soldiers to fight for Him? He does not need anyone to fight for Him. He does not need anyone to kill for Him. He does not need anyone to do anything for Him. He does not need anyone to defend His name. He can do His own fighting. He can do His own killing. He can defend His own name. And He can certainly do His own doing. He can do everything for Himself simply because He is the all-powerful, ever-present God. It is the same reason why there cannot be a devil. Because the very existence of a devil suggests that someone can oppose God. Which means then that God is not all-powerful. Intellectuals among us will understand that just as the absence of light gives rise to darkness, that the absence of goodness gives rise to evil. Darkness is not a thing in itself. It is the absence of light. In the same way, Any evil in you is not a thing in itself. It is the absence of goodness within yourself. Bring light into your life and you will remove the darkness from your life. Increase the level of goodness in your life and watch the evil tendencies disappear from your life. So we must rethink what we say we do for God. We must rethink what we think that God wants from us. We must rethink what we say that we offer to God, because He already owns everything. And there is nothing we can give to Him because everything is already His. Many of us go to many natural environments to offer our prayer to that God who is universally present. He is present in the earth, in the oceans, and everywhere, every place. There is nowhere where He is not. Many of us sees God as a demanding dictator who wants things from us and wants us to do things for Him. There are many of us who does all types of pujas and different forms of worship, where we feel the need to offer things to that demanding God of ours. So at the behest of leaders who are supposed to have the knowledge, we dispose of saris and other clothing, utensils, murtis, coconuts, fruits, flags, and many other things, which suffocates and kills the innocent lives which are dependent on that same environment of our Mother Earth, which we pollute. And when we dispose of these things at the beach, eventually other people end up stepping and desecrating those same murtis and flags which we once held sacred. How does this make any sense? God has granted us the intellect which we must use to determine what makes sense and what don't, and choose to do what is right to do. So we must ask ourselves, is the pollution of Ganga Ma and the beaches also a part of our worship? Does it make any sense that we make the children of Ganga Ma suffer and die as a result of our worship? Then what kind of worship is that? Those of us who think that we need to go to the beach and offer, a better word would be discard, so many kinds of foods and fruits into the sand and the water because somehow we're giving it to God. You should instead do the spiritual you a huge favor by being charitable, by being kind, by being generous, by being divine and caring, and go donate those same foods and those same fruits to people who are going hungry at this very moment. We do not need to go and desecrate and lay waste to the pristine beaches to somehow satisfy God. If anything, God will be offended and annoyed at us for the pollution, and no amount of this type of misguided prayers will be positively rewarded. For those of you who think that you need to go and buy idols which are worth thousands of dollars, and buy clothes and flags with hundreds of dollars, and to buy all the extravagant things which you then take to the ocean and you dump it all in God's name, I suggest that you become more human, that you show compassion and love simply by taking that money and spending it on the less fortunate who do not have anything. Instead of littering the beaches in a false, convoluted, and misguided sense of doing good, let us feed the hungry, give to the poor, help the unfortunate, help to dry the tears of those who are crying, share in the sorrows of the sorrowful, help ease the pains of those who are stricken, and help the disabled to become whole once again. You want to show the world that you love God? You want to show that you will do anything for God? You want to show that you are kind to God? You want to show that you're generous to God? It is simple. Just show that same love, that charitable mind, that generosity, that kindness, that compassion, and that deep sense of caring to all the children of God who are less fortunate than you are. Please do not go and make a mockery of your very own existence, of God and of Mother Earth, by using the excuse of God to clutter the beaches, to dirty the oceans, and to pollute the rivers of the earth, all in God's name. Any leader, any priest, any Pandit, any religious books which tells us to go and pollute the environment, to poison the fishes, to kill God's children, and to destroy and contaminate this beautiful Mother Earth in the name of God, in some sick, false, misinformed type of worship, is leading us down the wrong path and must be questioned by intelligent minds. The beach is a very nice place to go and pray. So is every other place. There is not a bad place or a bad time for prayers. So yes, go do your prayers at the beach if you feel you must. But if you're one of those who would leave those things at the beach, we must realize that God did not ask for them. God does not want them. God will not take them. And God will not eat them. So when you are done with your worship, bring all your offerings home and dispose of them in a respectable manner. When they are littering the beaches and rotting, and others pass by and witness that, it reflects badly on all Hindus, the guilty and the innocent. I ask all of us, Hindus and non-Hindus alike, to do what it takes to protect Mother Earth, to do what it takes to protect the integrity of our higher God-given intellect, to preserve intact the sacred and wholesome teachings of our scriptures, and to help us all to clean up this false, misconstrued, misleading, and destructive belief system which is still so prevalent and ingrained in the mind and the psyche of those who do not know better. We are indeed one with earth, one with nature, one with the universe, and one with God. But only when we begin to realize and truly believe this in our own beating, loving hearts, will we be deserving of being called human and a child of God. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.